Will I ever be happy again? If you have lost someone you love, you've probably asked yourself this question. Maybe you feel like you'll never be happy again. Maybe you feel that your joy is gone forever. You see people having fun, making plans, enjoying with others. And then you may think that, wow, I remember when I felt that way, when that was me. And now it is not possible. Maybe even you feel guilty because you have actually started to feel happy even though you feel pain in your heart. And then you must be even confused because you may think, how come I am having this huge pain and also I have this desire of being happy again? This cannot be. It shouldn't be. And you may even use that word, I shouldn't feel this way. I say this to you because that's something that I've heard from so many clients, and because this question is so common. Because some clients ask me, Ligia, will I ever be happy again? Because sometimes they think they will not. Is that happening to you? Hello, this is Ligia Huben. Welcome to my podcast, Transforming Grief. If this is the first time you're here, thank you, welcome. I am a thanatologist, a grief specialist. I have specialized in helping others going through grief, and I am also the creator of the methodology, the 11 Principles of Transformation. And actually, with that system, we can embrace life again, because that is my purpose of this episode today, that despite of our grief, to remind you that you can be happy again if you choose to do that. And what makes me say that, if you choose? Because you know what? Happiness is a choice. Actually, I used to do a workshop here at the Center of Transforming Lives that I have here in Miami for Transforming Lives. And I used to do that workshop. Happiness is a choice. Because even Aristotle said, happiness depends upon ourselves. It's up to us. Yes, pain happens, absolutely. We experience pain. We experience grief. Losses happen, absolutely. Now, what are we going to do about that? We can stay in that place of suffering, in that black hole that many times happen, or we can go to this place of honoring with love, honoring our loved ones, and coming from that place of allowing ourselves to experience joy. And that's key, what I told you right now, those words, allowing ourselves to experience joy. Have you ever asked yourself, will I ever be happy again? And what have you answered back? What is your response? Do you think it's possible? And I know it happens because it happened to me. After I lost my mom, my beloved mother, back in June 2020, the pain I felt was huge, was tremendous. And it's back then when I started writing the book, Allow Me to Live My Grief and Heal from the Inside Out. I started writing the book. And suddenly I felt this desire to keep that connection with her in a sense of joy. In a sense of joy, I wanted to bring that to my life at that moment. I wanted to keep that, what we call continuing bonds, the continuing bonds. So that's what I wanted. And I knew that creating a book about her life filled with pictures, that was going to be an amazing project. And I am so, so glad I made that choice. Again, choices. I made that choice. And I remember that suddenly I found myself looking into pictures, seeing what I was going to include in the book, talking to my sisters, to my nieces, my daughter, cousins, like putting together pictures because the book has over 200 pictures. And let me tell you, that process was for me so amazing. It gave me so much joy. Yes, despite having lost her, despite having that huge pain in my heart, I was able to find joy, to find moments besides peace of joy. And that had to do with what I thought could help me in those moments. That's why I tell you, I, I suggest that you take the time and you ask yourself, what can I do to bring happiness to me at this moment? To help me with this, I have created a guide that can help you fill out all those things. You know, you can download it below this video. There's a link there. You can go there and you download it because it can help you. I want to help you because I've been there. I've been there when I have asked myself, am I going to be able to experience happiness again? And the thing that I responded to myself was, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And that was a choice. You know that it has to do with little things because after losing someone, our life changes, our world changes. Of course it does. And that's one of the things that people ask me. Ligia, am I going to be the same that I was before the loss? We are not. We have changed. That is natural after experiencing a huge loss. However, it depends on us. It depends on us how this change will be. Are we going to open our hearts, open our minds to grasp those moments of joy, those laughter, those moments of having precious experiences with family members, with friends, doing something that makes us feel happy? You know that happiness is so subjective. What gives you happiness probably doesn't make me happy. Maybe. And at the same time, what makes me happy, maybe it doesn't make you happy because it is subjective. Here, what you want is to make sure you do that exercise. You reflect, you connect with yourself, and you ask yourself, do I give myself permission to be happy? Are you? Because that happens as well. Sometimes people don't give themselves permission to be happy. And that's where all this starts. Because with all those changes, change of routine, change sometimes in relationships, change that we have in our lives, sometimes we may find some conflict there. But even despite those changes, we can embrace that happiness. Because now, and it is very common, it happens a lot, that after a significant loss, our priorities change. The things that we give value change. That happens a lot. Maybe before what made you happy was traveling and going out and, fun, beautiful, awesome. If it still does, great, beautiful. However, maybe now you find more joy being with family, expressing how you feel, giving love, being of service to others, creating a project, writing a book. Who knows? Maybe it is. So it could happen that what gave you joy before, it has changed. That's okay. The beauty here is that you can choose to embrace those moments. You can choose to embrace that possibility and to give yourself permission. That's key. That's key. And I want for you to just take your hands, you put it on your heart and ask yourself, how can I be happy now? What gives me joy? Even if it's moments of joy. Because remember, when we are grieving, we go through stages of intensity, of grief intensity. At the beginning, it's so acute. The grief is so acute. And then we continue and we continue and we learn how to live without our loved one physically because they're always here. And then we go through all those, the process, we go through that. So throughout the process is when you can open your heart to embrace and allow yourself those moments of joy. I hope that this message has touched your heart and that you have found value in it. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, the channel, I would greatly appreciate if you do it, if you can share this with others, because maybe that person that you share this episode with them, this message, maybe they feel they will never be able to be happy again. And in sharing this message, they can also give themselves permission to be happy. I would love to hear your comments if you want to share with us what can bring you happiness in this moment. Thank you so much for being here. I send you all my love from my heart to yours.